Hey guys, welcome back to the Mooney's Little Farm Journey. So this video is a little bit different from my usual. Usually we do a blog on our farming live and our progressing, but this one's a little bit about fixing some equipment. So if that's what you're here for, just watch that and go ahead and skip to the time right there so you can see how I accomplished that. Well, for the rest of you that's still with me, let's do some chores before we get to the work. Morning, ladies. It's always interesting to come in here when once it's snow, because you can see the ceiling's all covered with the snow and stuff. But that stuff is gonna melt and roll off as soon as it gets a little bit warm out, or the sun comes out. I'm actually late this morning, and you're probably wondering, where you been, man? All right, so actually I don't think you guys seen this routine in the winter. What I'm doing now, it's so we're having problems with the water getting frozen. So we went to this tub, and then we throw the water away every night, and then in the morning we come in and we give them fresh water. That way it's not froze. Usually this water will stay unfrozen all day, because they're going in there all day pecking at it. It always takes a little bit longer to record when you're doing your chores, because you only have one hand to work with. You ever seen chickens drink water? Something I'm doing different with the feed now. I was giving them just straight dry feed, and I noticed, like, you can see here on the ground, like they kind of like, they eat it, but then they spray it around, and it looks like a lot of it goes to waste. And I think most of it has to do because it's just like little granites, so they spread it everywhere. But what I'm doing now is I'm putting water overnight and let it soak up, so when they come out here, it's easier for them to grab. It doesn't go all over the place. Plus, I think it might be easier for them to digest if you think about it. Their body doesn't have to work so hard to break down the dry feed. So what I do, I usually put a couple different piles all over the place. Right there, over here, and put some back there. And what that does is, like, it seems like chickens, like, they form their own community, kind of like circle of friends, right? And then, like, they hang out with those chickens all the time. So me spreading out the food like this, it kind of alleviates some of that fighting for food kind of thing. Like, everybody's got their own place and they'll eat the way they want to eat. It's kind of works out pretty nice. Did you guys get a chance to see the little teenager girls? There's one right there. That's the most beautiful one. This is the dark brown the black with brown in her. And then the other two are over here. You can see them right there. Now at first I thought that that brown one and brown was the only hybrid chicken I had. But I'm starting to think that the other two, the yellow ones, they might be hybrids too, because they don't let me get that close to them. But when you look at them really close, in their tails, you actually see some black with feathers. And if they were straight Buff Orpingtons, they would be yellow completely, like this one right here. That's a Buff Orpington, that's a Buff Orpington. So they would be completely yellow if they were mixed, if there were two Buff Orpingtons that had bred. So that's kind of exciting. I think those two are hybrids as well. And then Jason kind of told me he thinks this one, the little brown one, the little black and brown, he thinks that might be a Jubilee right there. So we can get a little closer to her. And she's our only Jubilee that we have. This one right here. And Jason said that he thinks that might actually be her offspring, which it would be a hybrid as well too, because that one is an Orpington. Not an Orpington, it's a Jubilee. That Jubilee, and it would be a Buff Orpington, so it would be a mix of the two. Either way, I mean, they're just gorgeous animals, and I love the fact that and they were born here on the farm. You know, a friend of mine, kind of Karl, actually, if you want to check his, if you're into like off-grid living kind of thing and self-sufficiency, check out his channel. Karl's Off the Grid. He does a lot of stuff. He lives in the Northwoods, or he has a cabin up in the Northwoods, and he does a lot of content on how he deals with things out there. Anyways, he told me, he's like, hey, have you ever considered an incubator to kind of hatch the eggs? Because in my video when I hatched them, I mentioned that I wanted to eventually, if this worked here in the winter, that I wanted to hatch more eggs and kind of grow them through winter, so that way they're laying in the peak of summer. Yes, I did thought about incubators, because of course these guys lay a lot of eggs. But one thing that kind of struck me, and that I've come to realize too, is that I've noticed everybody that hatches eggs, or chickens in general, just it is a community, you know. And if the babies are born and hatch here through a mama, like they're more accepted. You can probably put them with the bunch sooner than you could if you hatch them yourself. If you hatch them yourself, you probably have to grow them inside the house to like about 4 or 5 weeks till they got all their feathers. And then you have to figure out a way to introduce them to the herd, to introduce them to the flock in a way that the flock is not going to attack them and pick on them, right? Now here, their place in the hierarchy is pretty much set. I mean, they're at the bottom of the hierarchy right now. But it was very well established from the beginning. And all these girls have been used to them since the day that they hatch. And that's actually been pretty nice, because we didn't have to put them inside the house at all. You know, mom sat on them, mom hatched them, and it seems like their instinct is just very natural. She was with them pretty much until they needed her, and now she's more of like, they're off roaming, playing around all day, and then at night they're roosting. So it's kind of like, it is amazing, you know. Like, I thought maybe I'll have to teach them, but no, this is kind of like they raise their own, and that's a beautiful thing. And I think that maybe that's going to be my plan going forward. It's like, that's how I'm going to hatch them. So I guess my hope, which is just, I guess with an incubator you can hatch them, but my hope going forward is that I have a set of chickens that like to go broody, and I'll let them go broody and hatch those eggs for me. But anyways, back to what the video is actually really about. So you guys heard in our planning video, we plan on expanding our chicken operation and stuff, and some of the things that come with it, I need to make more either a coop or somewhere to shelter the chickens, to make sure that they're safe. And if you guys can see from last season, well, crazy, you can talk about like last season, huh? Season 1, a year ago, when I was building this coop, I was working in the barn, but I was working in the unheated area. And it was kind of tough working in there, because inside that building gets pretty cold because it's all aluminum. But I do have an area in my garage, in the barn as well, that is heated. And I want to work in there to start building the next things that I need for those next chickens that are coming. But my problem is, I have a truck that's broken down and it's sitting in there. So I got to get that fixed and get it out of there. It's actually like 8:30. We're going on 8:30 this morning, and it's pretty late for these guys to get their food. They probably will be wondering where I've been. Truth be told, I slept in. And I actually have a Funko appointment too, that I gotta be to here in a couple minutes. So I gotta hurry with these chores. Morning, Bucky. Morning, goats. Just let me in. Let me in. Let me in. That's my alarm. My appointment is in 5 minutes. I gotta get this done quick. We get 4 scoops of this grain mix, and they love this stuff. But you guys watch the chaos when they come in. They just run right to it. Yeah, they waste no time. They go straight to eating their feed. Now they only get that feed once a day. They mainly eat grass, alfalfa, and hay, whatever mix we got for them that day. Tell you what, if these guys could, they probably would eat They would eat that all day. Ciao, Yelena. Get out of the way. Oh, Yelena always likes to taste Bucky's food. I do give her a little chunk. That way she leaves me alone to fix the rest of the meal. Come on. Yeah, I'm gonna finish up here and then let's go deal with that truck, see what's going on. This here is actually my shop where I work on my equipment. Got my ATVs here, got one of them. That's my plow. ATV with a plow, and then there's the other one. You got Lila here. This truck right here is a 2001 GMC Yukon XL Denali. And I've had this truck for a couple of years now, but about a year and a half ago, actually no, about a year ago, it kind of just started leaking fluid from the transmission lines. And it's been a repair that I've been wanting to do, but like honestly, it's not, I don't need the truck for work or for anything. I usually just use it around the farm and then to move materials around. So I haven't been really be present, like really having to fix it. But now with the plans that I got coming up in the farm, I need this area so I can work on some other things. Because this garage actually is heated. And it's the only place that I like to work during the winters to be comfortable. But anyways, with that being said, like I said, it's a GMC 2001, a Yukon XL Denali. And what I'm doing here, I'm working is changing the transmission lines. So here's what's going on with this car. So the transmission started working on this. It wasn't shifting when I was driving it. So I found out that the lines had a leak in them. They rusted through and there was a leak in the lines. And I actually thought it was just a one line, but actually both of them had it. So if you want a little bit of background on this, so there's actually 3 lines that you could change for this. It's the lower and the upper, and there's an auxiliary line that goes from the lower line over to like a little look at a little radiator that's here for the actual transmission coolant. But anyways, what I'm doing today is I don't need to take this apart. But if you were changing those out, and you need to get to the transmission, the little transmission radiator is in here. You actually have to take this apart, and it's pretty simple. You just you take this cover off. They come off, and then the grill is actually for like this. Once you take these off, if you look in here, there's like a little, with a screwdriver, feel like a screwdriver, you can get in there. You can undo that one. There's another one right here underneath, and then there's another one here and here. Once you get those off, there's a little 10mm bolt that's in here holding it. Take that off, and then this should all just clip out. This one just they clip in over here. They should clip out. But if you're watching this video, you're not doing that. You try really just to do what I'm doing, which is I'm repairing a line, and what I'm doing is I'm going to cut it. And so what it is, I went online, I bought a fluid line. This hose, this is rated for 300 psi, which is, it should be way more than what the transmission's putting out as far as like pressure. And then I got some clips. So what my thought is, I wanna clip the line in some places, and I'm gonna put the rubber hose in between. Now it's not the textbook way to fix it. It's not, you're not gonna have like a brand new line, but I mean, rubber doesn't corrode. And honestly, I need this truck just really to move things around in the farm, so it's not like my daily user. But I don't think there'll be a reason not to think that it's not gonna work if you use it every day. And the reason I'm doing this is because when I changed the upper line, that one was a little bit tough to get the pins off of it, but then to be able to get to the lower one, which is actually on top of the transmission, I just can't get my hands in there. And I called the mechanic. He's $100 an hour to fix it, so it's gonna be at least $125, $150 for the labor, and then plus the hose. So I'm gonna try this first because it's only like for the materials. I'm using I bought the hose that was $15, and then I bought a kit of clamps like this that was another $15. So it was $30. And honestly, if you look at the lines, the replacement line for that one is actually $30. So what I'm trying to save here is that the labor cost that it would take me to go over there and do it. And if it works, then it works, and I don't have to spend the money. Let me show you guys where that line is rusted. Here's the first line that I took out, and as you can see, it's actually just a section. It's just a section right here that was corroded, and it was actually where there's a clip down there that holds them together. That's where that clip was, and it collects condensation, and that's where it brought it off. But the rest of the line is actually good, you know. And then when I looked at the other one, it was the same way. So I'm thinking I'm gonna cut it, put this hose in there, clamp it, and then hopefully that works. All right, so let me get down here, and I'm gonna show you guys what I actually was talking about. So these lines, they run pretty parallel to each other, and you can see here's my new line right there, and then behind that on top, that's the other line. That's the one that we're trying to touch up. But I mean, it looks pretty good where it is right there. And right there is where this is the clip I was talking about. This clip right here, that's where it gets a lot of condensation gets put in there by snow when you're driving. But that's right there, that's where that line is leaking, right on top of that one. So my thought is I'm gonna cut it somewhere here in the front, and then somewhere back here before it goes into the transmission. And honestly, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to put this on video because it's pretty crowded in here and there's not much room to work, and let alone take a video. I'm underneath the car. If you have a lift, it'll probably be easier, but it's pretty hard where I'm at right now. I just got it on the stands right here. Okay, so the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take out this plastic guards we got here, just to give myself some room to work. This screws right here, that's a 15mm socket. And there's a couple in the front here too. One of the covers. Now you got the pans out of the way. So you'll see that line. This is the line I'm talking about. That's the one I'm going to change. But I gotta look for the right place to cut it at. Actually, I'm going to cut it right here towards the front, right before it goes into the coolant reservoir here, that coolant radiator. So I'm going to cut it somewhere here so I got room to work with the hose right there, and then I'll cut it back there before it goes up to the transmission. I gotta be careful. This is the one I want to cut right here. I'm gonna try to cut it right here. I'm trying to be careful so I don't cut the other one next to it. And there's a little bit of hydraulic fluid coming out. Not hydraulic fluid, but it's a transmission fluid. Put that there for now so it doesn't leak. So I probably could go ahead and put the hose on it right now, right away. Okay, so the front one is gonna end up right there. I was able to put it in about an inch for where I cut it. You can tell right there is where the cut was. So I was able to come in about an inch. Thing back here, I'm gonna go ahead and so the leak it's right here on this part. I think I'm gonna cut it right here and then put the hose right in there, because this will give me room to work. Make sure I got somewhere I can put my hands in there. This one's gonna have to be a matter of just finding the right angle to get in there and cut, because you can see I can't get in there, so I might have to just take off the blade and cut it by hand right there, which is gonna be time consuming. But I don't see us really having another option from where we're at here. I actually found a better angle here to cut this hose. Okay, there you go. One came off, so let's take this out. We get the other one in here, or the plastic one, or the rubber one. Okay, so this is a little bit longer than what we need, so probably gonna go ahead, I'm gonna cut it right there. Okay, so I'm gonna have to finish up the video here with my iPhone, but here's that's where we cut it. I went ahead and I tightened it. I got this all tight, and I'll show you guys how I did the back. Okay, and then here's the one on the back. So the transmission is actually right here. And the reason why I didn't change the hose is because I couldn't get to that pin back there. My hands don't fit in there. Anyways, that's how this ended up being here. So I'm gonna get some zip ties, and I'm gonna secure it to this other line so it doesn't move, and it's out of the way of anything that's moving in the engine. There it is after I put the zip ties on. Car's running right now. Doesn't look like there's any leaks at all. Then here's the front of it. So there you have it, guys. So I went ahead, I drove her around for a little bit. The engine's up to temperature, and we got the transmission up going too. And it looks like it works. So if you're in a pinch and you need to do something like this to get yourself going, whether it be like whether it be to get you to you can get to the mechanic and get it fixed right, or if you just want to ride it like this. I mean, for me, I'm just gonna use it around the farm here. So I think this is gonna work until it stops working, and then I'll decide to see what I'm gonna do with it. But you know, there's 265,000 miles on this truck. I really didn't want to put much money in it. I mean, I would, because the engine and the transmission are good on this truck, and I think it's got a couple thousand more miles in it. But you know, it's a little fix that you can do. Obviously it's the first time I've done it, so I don't know like how long it'll last. But definitely it's something that you can do. So like, let's say if you don't have all the money to get it to the shop to get it fixed right away, you can get yourself the materials for $30 and do it yourself if you're a little bit mechanical savvy here. But yeah, that's about it for this channel. You know, if you just came just for the part of the hose, thanks you for watching. We are a homestead kind of channel. We do a blog of like how we're doing it. We have a little farm that we're running here in Wisconsin, and it's our journey. We're first generation farmers, and we're trying everything here as we go. And one of those things is you got to fix things yourself if you want to save money. But yeah, if you want to, I would love for you guys to subscribe, kind of support the channel a little bit. And if you want to subscribe, thank you for watching. I love you guys and see you in the next one. I hope this helps. I'll leave the links down below for all the materials I use.